One of the most famous Geoguessr metas of all time is the Ghana black tape. But did you know that Ghana is getting updated coverage soon, which means no more black tape? So it's become more important to be able to recognize and region guess Ghana. So if you're like me and you rely on the Ghana black tape to be able to recognize Ghana, then this video might be for you. So today we're going to play through a couple of learnable meta maps and try to learn how to guess and region guess Ghana. So let's see how I do. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. Right. So looking at the vegetation around me, because I don't know how many of these are going to be like vegetation metas or something about the tape on the bar, but we have these plants kind of dotted alongside. It's a very like hilly, dark green, kind of foresty area. I'm gonna go closer to Kumasi for now and we'll see where we are. Okay, we were actually a lot closer to BC Krom. So this was the Ghana Tall Mountains. So tall mountain ranges in Ghana are typically seen near Lake Volta in the highlighted area. Okay, and this is Lake Volta. Mountain ranges to the east are more common in the area near Togo. And this is Togo right here. Okay. Not the same like mountain range thing, but we do have a lot of red dirt, so maybe red dirt is the meta. It could be kind of like the flatter landscape because last round we had was very like hilly and mountainous, so potentially flat landscape, potentially red dirt. Maybe it's something about the tape, I'm not entirely sure, but let's go maybe here near Aswam. Okay, we could have been a little bit closer there. So this was the savanna landscape. Northern Ghana features a savanna landscape which can be identified by its dry soil and less dense vegetation. Okay, and we did kind of note that. It's kind of closer to the border with Burkina Faso. Okay. This reminds me more of like the northern vegetation, like up here. So I'm going to plonk it near Jarapa. Okay, cool. So we only got 500 points there, but I think because I identified like the meta of like the savanna landscape, I'll take it as a small dub. So it was in northern Ghana and it was the savanna landscape, and we were closer to Bole. All right, so this feels like neither the savanna landscape nor like the mountainous area we saw before. I'm thinking maybe it's a vegetation meta because we got kind of these like, you know, palms, a lot of like grass and vegetation. So I'm thinking like definitely further south than north. Do I think the same area as before, like down here? It could be. Actually, maybe it is like a similar area because we do see like a kind of like a large like incline in the road, and we do see in the back like kind of like dark forested. So let's go near Assesawa. Okay, no, this was the dense forest. So dense forests in Ghana are typically found in the southwest and east. You'll usually see many naturally occurring palm trees, making the two regions recognizable. Okay, and that is here and up here. Okay. Ooh. Okay, we have a little bit of red dirt this time and a lot of vegetation, so kind of a combination of some of the things we've seen in the other rounds, but that is a huge like hill slash forest in the back, so I'm leaning more maybe like down here or maybe even like west of Kumasi, so I'll go over here. Okay. That's our best guess so far, even though it was only 1.5k. It was the Ghana dense forest meta, typically found in the southwest and east. Okay. All right, 2.6k, I can definitely do better than that, so let's keep going. Okay, red dirt. Not a lot of like hills or mountains from what I can see. Not a lot of like tropical vegetation, so I'm definitely thinking more like northern half. Maybe I'll go near Sala, because I think last time it was kind of on this like border over here. Okay, no. Okay, this was our first like tape meta. So, and I think because Ghana's getting updated like coverage at some point soon, I'm not gonna like go like too hard on remembering like the tape metas because I think it will get replaced. But still good to know for now until that gets updated. So Ghana peeled tape. In the east and north, you can find the peeled tape, which unlike the unpeeled tape is slightly peeled off. Okay, yeah, I feel like those differences are really hard to tell for me, but green is kind of like more smooth, this one's a little bit, but they're all kind of like all over the place. Okay, we'll have to see it again for it to sink in, I think, but that is okay. All right, we've got the more, I think, savanna style vegetation, so I want to go further north. And this is Tamale, which I see is here. So I'm almost wondering if we can 5K, even though that's not the point of this. Tamale school, because how many schools could there be, like, nearby? Probably a lot, actually. I think this is, like, a really big city. So, yeah, let's just plunk it here for now, and we'll see where we are. Okay. Oh, okay, so there was, like, a little, like, more smaller neighborhood called Pong Tamale. I was kind of just in downtown Tamale, but that's our best guess so far, which we love to see, and that's because we had, like, the place name, and I found the place name on the map. Okay. Ooh, okay, good to know the walking sign. I don't know if this will be the meta, but I don't know how often I've actually looked at a lot of, like, the infrastructure and stuff that's, like, around in Ghana, because as soon as I see the black tape, usually it ends to send. But we've got the blue background, white border. We got a person walking across the road, and they're kind of like two horizontal lines, which reminds me more of like the Poland walking sign than it does like any of the other countries with this kind of similar walking sign. So no dashes in it though. Vegetation. Okay, we were seeing very like tall mountains, very like lush and tropical. Maybe I'm thinking further like southwest. Okay, nope, this was closer to Lake Volta. So this was the peeled tape meta. In the east and north, you can find the peeled tape, which unlike the unpeeled tape, is slightly peeled off. Okay. This is definitely more savanna. So we're going further north. I'll go near Wa. Okay, I'll take it. I feel like even getting like a general idea of like where to region guess in Ghana is gonna help my game a lot whenever I get a Ghana round, because I kind of just like usually send Kumasi or Accra, but now I can actually get like a pretty decent region guess if I get like the savannah landscape and I see the tape. So now I know it's in the north. Okay, definitely not the savannah landscape. This is more like the mountain. Let me look at this tape. It looks a little bit peeled, maybe. Like, I can see, like, a smidge of a line here, which I don't know particularly what areas that is, because I know it's just, like, they're kind of, like, a whole bunch of different roads that it can be on. But maybe it's, like, the slightly peeled team meta. Unsure. Can we see a thing here? We can see, like, municipal, like, Yarrow, maybe is, like, the name, but I don't know if I know my municipalities. But I'm zooming into this line and seeing, okay, we have Ashanti region, Bono East, Volta and Eastern. We're just gonna look quickly for Central and Western. Okay, yeah. I don't know where this one particularly is, so we'll go over here by Lake Volta. Okay. This was the Ghana Tall Mountains. So, tall mountain ranges in Ghana are typically seen near Lake Volta in the highlighted area. Okay, I will take that for sure. Alright, 7K, already a vast improvement, but I think I can do better, so let's keep going. Ooh. Okay, so not a follow car, just a car behind us. What do I notice about the vegetation? We have a lot of different kinds of trees here. We've got a kind of line of like fanned out palms. We've got a lot of like shorter trees as well. The dirt is slightly red. I can't see any like mountains or anything. So I don't know if we're super near Lake Volta. I don't know what this is on the side of the road. Some sort of vegetation. Ooh, blue sky. Yellow plates, roadside driving. These are kind of just general things. I guess I'll just go near a city, maybe like Kumasi, and we'll see where we are, but I don't see any like vegetation or like, you know, mountain meadows that I recognize. Okay, this was closer to Anto. So this was the unpeeled tape meta. Okay. In the southwest, you can find the unpeeled tape, which is essentially a mostly intact tape, which is not peeling off. Yeah, it is a little bit hard to tell difference between like this one and this one IMO. Like this one's a little bit more different, but still at a quick glance, like do look very similar to me. So something I will hopefully like understand after time, or like once the new coverage gets added, I won't need to know that. Okay, so we're at some sort of like plantation. There's a lot of tall palm trees over there, reddish dirt. Do I see any mountains? I can see like a little bit of like a curve, but I don't know if I'd say it's like mountainous per se. So let's look at this tape. Does it look peeled? Maybe it's like slightly peeled. I'm not entirely sure here, but vegetation wise, maybe somewhere closer to the center. Like it doesn't feel particularly savanna-like or like, you know, mountainous. So let's go near like Techiman. Okay, we were all the way further southwest. This was the palm tree meta. So, Ghana palm trees, tall palm trees are commonly found along the coast. Most of them are located in the west. Okay. We do have a little bit of like the red, white, blue blur here, which, I mean, we're driving on the right, so I would never send like Sri Lanka because of the French flag blur, but good to know that it can kind of look like that if I was playing NMPZ. Okay, we do have a little bit of a mountain slash hill. We do have a ton of different trees around us. Some palm, some tall. I'm wondering if I've had this location before, but not super sure. So I'm gonna go near Lake Volta near Kapando. Okay, this was the dense forest meta. So dense forests in Ghana are typically found in the southwest and east. You'll usually see many naturally occurring palm trees, making the two regions recognizable. Okay, dense forests. I guessed in a area where the dense forests are, but not in like the correct one. So, I mean, we at least got like the right half of the country, but I could definitely get closer. Okay, red dirt. Something being grown on the side of the road. We have like these really, really tall mountains, and ooh, look at this pole. Okay, so there are 3 coils on the top of the pole. We have kind of like, it's just like I think it's just like a wooden tree trunk. No, like a green wooden tree trunk. We have a sign. Ooh, what's this tree? This tree is very tall. It's got like a wider trunk, and it's got only like the leaves at the very top. Okay. Where do I think we are? So the really dense mountains. We're kind of near like Kumasi, question mark? Okay. I think I went too far west. So this was it was a tall mountain, but they were closer to Lake Volta, so I could have gone further east there. We only got 800 points, but I will hopefully remember that and get better at it. Okay, no mountains, no savanna-like vegetation. Let's look at this tape. I could not really tell you if that's peeled or unpeeled, so it's probably a tape meta, but not something I'm super familiar with yet. Do we have a lot of palm trees? We do not, so let's go near Accra. Okay, this was further north. This was a Scotch tape meta. North of Kumasi and west of Tamale, you could find this Scotch tape, which is 2 distinct white spots on the left side of the tape. Huh. Okay, interesting. Not something I'm probably gonna like remember right away, but good to know. Okay, the Scotch tape is like up here, kind of like in the north area, and down here, Scotch tape has the 2 white dots. Okay, 1.4K. Oof. Let's keep going. Okay, Gen 3 question mark. Okay, recognizing cam gens out here. Peeled tape, I think. Doesn't feel like it has 2 big white dots, and it doesn't feel super smooth either. So I don't really know where the peeled tape is, but that's what I'm recognizing here. No tall mountains, no like abundance of palm trees. So what am I thinking? Not really far north, not really far south, maybe closer to Lake Volta. No, that would be more mountainous. No, maybe west of Kumasi. It was a savanna landscape? Oof. Okay. I think I just saw like a lot of vegetation and kind of assumed it wasn't savanna. And maybe I should have like taken more of the like lack of incline and, you know, mountains and stuff into account. But I got that incorrect. Hopefully I get that better in the future. Okay, this feels more like what I would think of for the savanna landscape. But let's look at the tape just to see if I recognize anything. I don't think it's like the Scotched one. I don't see any 2 big white dots. I think it's fairly smooth, but like a little peeled, so maybe it's peeled. I don't know, hard to tell. We're gonna go further north though, near Wa. Okay, it was a savanna landscape, so northern Ghana, featuring the savanna landscape, we got an okay score. No big mountains. Are there a ton of palm trees? No. So I think savanna landscape, let's see. Maybe that's a white dot. Is that ever a white dot, or is that just like the sun shining down on the tape here? Okay, so it was like west of Tamale and up here, I think is like where a lot of like the Scotch tape thing was. So maybe it's the Scotch tape meta. We'll go here. This is peeled tape. Oof. Okay. Yeah, this one's a little bit difficult for me to like distinguish and recognize, but this was Ghana peeled tape. In the east and north, you can find the peeled tape, which unlike the unpeeled tape is slightly peeled off. Okay. Ooh, okay, so this one is definitely more of a vegetation one. So we have these like really big like hills and mountains, and I feel like this is a location I had before. Maybe this is like the very first one. Okay, so very tall and like dense mountains. I think it was like closer to like Volta if I remember. I'll take it. It was the tall mountains and we were close to Lake Volta. I was just on the kind of like more western side of it, but it was in the south. So this was the tall mountain ranges, typically seen near Lake Volta in the highlighted area. Okay. Ooh, tall mountain ranges again, no? I think it's just like a similar area because of the mountain ranges, so I guess we'll go here. Perfect. It doesn't say like the mountain range, but I think because we're near Lake Volta, that also applies, even though that's not like the meta that's listed. So this was the Ghana peeled tape. In the east and north, you can find the peeled tape, which unlike the unpeeled tape is slightly peeled off. All right, we got 4.9K, not bad. I'm gonna move on to the second Ghana learnable meta map. All right, next up we have a learnable Ghana. All right, we are in a register area. We have kind of like flat landscape. Do I see a lot of like mountains? Not particularly. I don't know if this feels particularly like savanna-like because it does feel like very like lush, the vegetation, despite the lack of mountains. I'm gonna go near Kenyasi. We'll go here kind of like west of Kamasi. Okay, this was a lot further north. So this was the Wa Road. So this road goes north from Wa and circles back to meet it in the northeast of the city. It can easily be region guessed by driving direction, which goes clockwise. It becomes unpaved around 1/4 of the way through and can be distinguished from other dry roads because it has much oranger soil and also either very wispy clouds or none at all if you'd rather play the game that way. Okay, Wa Road, wispy clouds, dry roads. Oh my gosh, a leaf. I'm assuming the leaf is the meta here because it's just like so large and kind of like the frame of the camera, like maybe it was like stuck to the camera or something like that, but it's very like, you know, wavy. I think that'll be the meta. I mean, I'm gonna look at everything else also, but we kind of have this very like, ooh yeah, we have very like large mountains and lush vegetation. I'm thinking maybe near like Volta, so we'll go like, let's go up here near Anfoeta. Okay, this was the Asokwa leaf. So this leaf above the tape appears north of Asokwa, which let's find Asokwa so I know where to guess. Oh, Asokwa's down here. Okay. And on either side of Obuasi. And Asokwa is here. And Obuasi is, we should find out where it is, over here. Okay, so kind of like on this road between the two. Asokwa leaf. I'm remembering it because, like, Ahsoka, I'm thinking of, like, from Star Wars. That's kind of what it reminds me of. Leaf, Ahsoka. Okay, we have a bunch of, like, different kinds of trees here. Like, we got this more, like, palm-like tree. I can see kind of, like, a large mountain in the back peeking over, like, the row of, like, trees in front of us. It's like, boop, boop. Gen 3, but I think it's all Gen 3 coverage, question mark, although they are getting updated coverage at some point. We have a lot of vegetation, kind of register a little bit. Let's go near Techiman. Okay, no, this is closer to Manuso. This was the N2 rift. So only the section of the N2 in the OT and northern regions will have rifts, while the sections of Volta and Greater Accra will not. Okay. We have a ton of palms. Okay, a ton of palms, if I'm remembering correctly from like the first round, is kind of near the coast. So I'm gonna go near Takoradi. All right, perfect. I got a kind of decent-ish region guess, but not because of like what it's saying on here, but because of the palms. But good to like combine some of those metas together. So this was the West Coast Road. So this road on the west coast of Ghana is the only west driving rural coastal road. Okay, so maybe I should go closer to like Beyin down here. But we got at least like the coastal vibes. Okay, this one is zoomed into the tape, so I'm wondering if it's like a tape meta or if it's like something to do with this vegetation over here. But let's just take a look at everything. This is not smooth tape, so it's either the peeled tape or scotch tape. Are there two white dots? Maybe. So maybe it's scotch tape, but again, it could just be like the sun reflecting on the tape. I'm not entirely sure. Not seeing a lot of mountains. Okay, not seeing a ton of palms. So Scotch tape. Where was the Scotch tape? Maybe near Tamale? This was the peel tape? Okay, yeah. I don't know how to recognize the two. But we got a pretty good region guess. So this was Ghana peel tape. So this is more in the north and east of the country. And we weren't too far. We were further east of Tamale, but I got 2.6. All right, 4.9K. Let's keep going. Okay, we are faced to the left, which is not faced towards the tape. Ooh, Ahsoka leaf. Ahsoka, like Ahsoka. Ahsoka, somewhere between Obuasi and Ahsoka. So let's go like here. Yippee! Okay, this one I feel like is memorable. If I ever see a leaf, we're gonna go near Ahsoka because of Ahsoka. So this leaf above the tape appears north of Ahsoka and on either side of Obuasi. Okay, we'll take that for sure. Ooh, this is like a large, like kind of like mountainous, hilly area. I'm seeing a teeny bit of like a rift in the sky, which we did learn that for a second earlier. Tape is not smooth, so maybe it's like slightly peeled, potentially. Do we have anything on the sign? No city names or anything on the sign. Okay, so a little bit of a rift in the sky. I feel like there was something like near up here. A little bit mountainous, so maybe I'll just go like near Kwame Kram, like near like Volta. Okay, a little bit further south, these were the Ho Hills. So the town of Ho has prominent hills to the northwest, and this is where Ho is. Okay, let me not look at the signs, because I could scan for information probably pretty easily. Let's see if there's any, like, vegetation or anything. Yeah, we're definitely in a city. Okay, so it's going to be some sort of, like, sign meta or something like that, or maybe an area code. We have 0203, it says for the phone code over there. Does not have a phone code on that sign. I can't really see the area codes on the other signs, but let's look at, see if this says the same name on any of these. Kumasi, it says Kumasi, I think, on it. Okay, so maybe it's something to do with one of the signs. Maybe it's an area code. Not entirely sure. Is this 5Kable ever? Potentially. Oh, Kamasi's very large. Okay, I think I'll just plonk it in the middle of Kamasi right now, and we'll see where we are and what the meta is. Okay, got 4.8, which I mean I'll definitely take because it was like a fairly urban area and there was a ton of signage around the side Kumasi. But anyways, these are Kumasi street signs. So Kumasi can have several different colored street signs which correspond to what part of the city you're in. Ooh, water. Okay. So, is this ocean or is this lake? Do I see a lot of palms? Not really. So I'm kind of thinking like not even like down here. I'm thinking probably somewhere along like Lake Volta, but I could be wrong here. Do I see a lot of mountains like in the distance? Actually, no, I do see a decent amount of palms. So we will go near the coast. Let's go near Tima. Okay, this was further east. This was Ghana Kita. So Kita is a town next to an inland lake. This lake will usually not be visible, but everything will feel very coastal with palm trees, while also feeling quite dry and sandy at most parts. Okay, Ghana, Kita, and Kita is here, kind of along the coast. Okay, we're in a city, so definitely like some sort of like signage meta potentially. Okay, Ofankar New Town. I'm gonna put it here in Accra for now because I feel like we're in a large city and I don't recognize this one. So let's look for other signage. It's not. Okay, I don't see the particular like city name anywhere, but I see a little bit maybe of a rift in the sky up here. Do I see mountains a little bit in the background? Maybe we can see like some like hills or elevation. Do I recognize any of these city names? Achimota, Amasaman. Like, why do I feel like we are like maybe like Accra, like an outer neighborhood of Accra? That's entirely possible. Could we be in Kumasi? I'm plugging in Accra for now and we'll learn what the meta is. Okay, this was Accra. And the meta was Accra houses, but I feel like I didn't really see too many houses because I felt like we were kind of in like a busy, like more like intersection or something. But Accra house meta, so kind of a fake meta. But as a rule of thumb, most residential buildings in Accra look like this. light beige walls and triangle sheet metal roof, and almost none do in Kumasi, with about half of them looking like this in other major cities. Okay, so the abundance of this type of house would lead me towards Accra. Ooh, okay, we got 16.2k. That's definitely the best score of any of the maps we've had so far. And I feel like that's like a vast improvement from kind of like where I started in the beginning of this video. So that is gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video and me learning Ghana region guessing and Geoguessr. If you enjoyed this video, let me know down below. I'll also have the maps linked in the description if you want to try them out yourself. And if you have any advice for being able to differentiate the different types of Ghana black tape, let me know down below too. So thank you so much again for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe to French Vanilla and have a great day.